All right, this is Brad and Nick with the Steel Deal here, ready to talk some Steeler football for the first time. How's everybody doing today?
We're great, man. We're great.
We got another regular season upon us, and just wanted to get your thoughts on the preseason this year. How you feeling about things so far?
I had to realize I didn't even know what the final record was. I think we 2-1 because we had the Jags, lost the Bucks, and then the Panthers. The final score is irrelevant. Um,
Yeah,
Obviously, we were both in person for the last game of the year, which is it's like the biggest mix of the starters play, but only for a fraction of a second.
yeah,
But it's also the only time you see them. I thought it was okay. My biggest concern with this year has been what are we doing? We're signing these vets, we're trading for these guys who I think are awesome.
mm-hmm.
Um, but we're really just hedging our bets that Rodgers is going to be better than what we've had and better than what he has been. Obviously, we're not getting a 4-time NFL MVP in
Yeah.
his present at his
I
peak.
agree.
Um, so what are we getting and what are we doing? Is this another 9-8 season?
Yeah,
Um, are we hoping for to compete in the division and win the division? I mean, the Ravens are so much better than us
yeah,
um, at the quarterback position alone. Um, I think we're close to the Bengals in terms of skill level, but their defense is so bad that I don't know. I just overall I'm pleased. I think we saw a lot of good things. Um, saw a lot of bad things, which we can obviously we'll get into. Um, I would have liked to see the starters play more. That's my
yeah,
final point with that, though.
yeah. That surprised me that Rogers didn't play at all. The entire there's a lot of guys that didn't touch the field at all during the preseason, and
Yep.
I mean, one series in the last two games each would have been, just get them out there and get them a little bit of a tune up. I think that would have been really good for all of them.
Yep. I agree because I mean the Bengals played Burrow and I think they played him too much. He was getting beat up. Um, I mean you got I mean you look at the entire roster. There's a massive turnover,
Yeah.
and you're not going to get better until you're playing real minutes together. And I don't think this team is equipped to claw its way out of a 1-3, 1-4 hole. Now, granted, our schedule to start the year is pretty weak. Um, but I've never understood. At least get them out there for a quarter, like
Mm,
just see the first team offense and first team defense as a whole, and just see what you have. It's not like we have a super innovative offensive coordinator who's trying crazy things. Arthur Smith is fine, but I think we still just need to see it because I don't know what we are as a team right now.
yeah. Yeah. The only team that I know of that actually went out and made big moves and won the Super Bowl were the Rams just a few years ago when they beat the Bengals. I mean, they sold out and they won the big one, and then they tanked for a few seasons after that. And they're a competitive team again now, but
Yeah,
they threw all the chips in, and I feel like Omar and Tomlin are throwing all the chips in. Just like, are you throwing all the chips in just so we can win a playoff game? Because I don't see a Super Bowl championship coming out of this team. You need to let these rookies you're drafting grow and develop.
yeah, and that's my only pushback because I think that I mean we've talked about this. I think that is a common criticism, like, oh, we're going all in. I don't think we're going all in. I think we're doing the right amount of in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Rodgers is like obviously he's the leader of it all, and he's the perfect microcosm of like, if he works, if it works, it works. If not, again, what are we doing? But I mean, he's on a 1-year contract, although he did just come out and say he's not ruling out running it back. I'm like, all right, man, let's see what happens first.
All right, Brett
Um,
Favre.
yeah, you just make up your mind. Jalen, he'll be here for 2 to 3 years. Jalen Ramsey, I think that's a good fit.
Yeah,
I was adding Johnny Smith is interesting. We already have 2 NFL tight ends on the roster, and we're paying one of them, and now we have to pay Johnu. And I think our young guys are good. To me, it just if we had a top 10 quarterback, this is a Super Bowl roster.
mm-hmm.
But I think they're asking Rodgers to do what they asked Russell Wilson to do last year, and I don't know. That's just really what it comes down to. I think we have the talent. I think we have a lot of young guys. Our draft class looks decent. Hopefully, Derek Harmon is fine off the knee. Um, so I don't think it's like Super Bowl or bust. But again, are we doing this to win one playoff game?
Yeah.
Okay, so if say we win a playoff game, all right, well we're still picking 24th, and quarterbacks all go top 10 now.
Yeah.
Like we need a long term quarterback, and it just felt like this was the year to kind of let's go down, grab our guy, and then we're coming back up. And I think we're continuing to tread water with hopes of winning a playoff game.
You bring up a really good point with the Jonnu Smith signing and having Freiermuth and Darnell there already. In 95, the Miami Dolphins stacked their team. They had 19, I think it was 19 first round picks. If anybody out there is watching this and I'm wrong about that, let me know, please, down in the comments, tell me. But I'm almost certain they had 19 first round picks on that roster starting. They didn't go anywhere with it. I think they might have been a wild card team, but there were, from my recollection, there were too many egos in the locker room. Not enough balls to go around for everybody, and it didn't work in their favor. So
yeah, and I think I think it was the 2009 Philadelphia Eagles. I'm probably wrong on that. Vince Young was the backup quarterback. They signed like Nnamdi Asomugha. They went out and signed everyone, and they anointed themselves the dream team. And I don't
remember that now.
I don't even think they made the playoffs. The only obviously we got rid of Pickens, so there's more mouths to feed now. The only questionable acquisition I thought was Jonnu Smith, and that's not because of the talent. That's not because of the person. I think he's followed Arthur Smith everywhere. He was in Tennessee. He was in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I think it'll work. I think the older guys that we acquired are going to be great for the culture. So that's why I'm not really worried about them in terms of their attitude. Like, I mean, Jalen Ramsey's a Hall of Famer. Darius Slay is, he's multiple Pro Bowl. Like these guys know how to play the game. So, and even with Rodgers, he knows how to play and he knows how to prepare for a game. But with the Johnny Smith edition, and trading Minka, who, was not himself last year or the year before that, I understand the trade. But to me, I'm like, okay, we're acquiring all these pass catchers, and it still comes back to the quarterback. Like that's just it. Because if you look at Rodgers in Green Bay, he very commonly used one tight end sets, Jermichael Finley, or the corpse of Jimmy Graham. Like he liked these guys. He didn't run 12, 13 personnel often. He had Jordy Nelson. He had Randall Cobb. He had, Greg Jennings, these guys that he would throw it on the outside to. And we don't have that. We don't have that stacked wide receiver room. It's better than last year, but it's not good.
I feel like they'll perform a lot better this year just for the fact that Pickens isn't in the room anymore, because there were so many plays that I saw watching, the replays of the games. He's just taking plays off constantly. And when you've got that one guy out there that's supposed to be drawing coverage, you're like, oh, we don't have to worry about him. He's not going to do anything. He's jogging. He's whiffing on blocks intentionally. In week one, he whiffed on a huge block in the third quarter. It would have been a touchdown for Jaylen Warren, but he didn't even try to block his man. That guy knocked him for a loss. Otherwise, it would have been a walk-in touchdown.
Yep. Yeah, and that's addition by subtraction, right? As Tomlin says, volunteers, not hostages.
Yeah.
Every Tomlinism is somehow applicable to some part of life. And I'm fine with the Pickens trade. I would have liked to see a little bit more in return. I thought we could have gotten a first round pick for him. But they took what they took, and we essentially, it was, I think the end up trade being like Pickens and a sixth, once you combine the trades for DK Metcalf and like a fourth or something like that. Like it ended up being like a decent trade. But I'm just terrified Rodgers is going to step out week one and hurt himself, and then all for naught. But every team has that issue with their starting quarterback, so we're not alone.
Yeah, exactly. Any bright spots in the preseason?
I thought, and I, again, kind of rewatching the games here, I thought seeing Caleb Johnson get better was big. Obviously, my wife, Sarah, is a huge Najee Harris fan, and she loves him, and she was super sad when he left. And I told her 4 years ago when I got her the jersey, I was like, he's going to leave in 4 years. And, sure enough, he's gone. But I liked the pairing with Jaylen Warren, because I don't think Jaylen Warren is a 1A running back. I think he's better suited as a 1B. So
Mhm.
hopefully Caleb Johnson can kind of take on that role as the season grows. He's not going to be on it just to start with, but seeing him get better, like visibly better, from game one of the preseason to game three, I thought was big.
Yeah.
Uh, Seeing Roman Wilson alive and making plays was good because
Yeah.
his whole situation last year was kind of weird. Um, I thought that Nick Herbig looked really good when he played.
Mhm.
I didn't feel like he's got to close on more plays though. He gets to the quarterback, but he can't get the quarterback down. He's like always in the realm, but he can't get the arms.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then we have an abundance of wealth at the kicker and punter position. So
Yeah.
that's always fun. We
Who
don't need
was
that.
29 Thursday night kicking?
That is Ben Sauls. He played for Pitt. I think he's like the all time something like the best kicker in Pitt Panther history. He's really really good. And the Steelers always sign an area kicker. It seems to just take Boz's reps occasionally during
Uh-huh.
training camp, and sometimes they're good. We had Matthew Wright a couple years ago, and now he's competing for the Panthers job. Um, I'm really curious what they do with the punter position because they kind of each have their Corliss Waitman, who filled in last year for Cameron
Ben
Johnston.
Johnson, right? Yeah.
Cameron Johnston. Yeah,
Cameron, okay.
yeah. I think there are a handful of bright spots. Unfortunately, I feel like I saw a lot more bad things.
Yeah. I feel like as far as bright spots go, one is that Y.A. Black, the rookie
Yeah.
defensive lineman. He's a one-man wrecking crew.
Yes.
I mean, I saw tape on him. Was it against the Bucks and the Jags, just shoving linemen into the
Yes.
backfield, and then he was doing it against the Panthers. I mean, he's going to be a difference maker.
And he had the belly celly. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, and I had to look up his name because I couldn't find him. Asezi Otomewu is listed right now as our third string defensive end.
Okay.
He was like, I think he was like number 73. He was granted it was fourth quarter in the last preseason game.
Uh-huh.
I understand it's not. He was everywhere. I mean, he was fantastic. And if we can have a stout and good backup defensive line, that's going to allow us to spell a lot of those guys, which has been the issue in the past because our defense is exhausted by week 15.
Got to keep them fresh.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. Wow. So, yeah, you touched on the Rodgers stuff a little bit. What are your thoughts on the quarterback situation, top to bottom?
I think Rodgers can be the quarterback that, God, I hate to say this, gets us back in the win column in the playoffs. Like this, and that's so depressing to say, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
Um, Again, would have really liked to see him play. Camp reports are that he was good in camp. Good ball placement. He asked a lot of his wide receivers, like a lot. And I'll be curious to see who gets in his doghouse because when that happens, you're done.
Yeah.
I thought beyond the first drive against the Jaguars, I thought Mason Rudolph looked terrible, which concerns me as a quarterback too. Obviously, if Rodgers goes down, we're done anyways. But I wasn't saying Mason Rudolph is going to be the next Tommy Maddox or someone who can spot start. But he looked really really rough.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, Skylar Thompson looked really good, and
Mhm.
wonder if they'll try to stash him on the practice squad or trade him. And I really, really would have loved to see Will Howard in action because we got to figure out what he is. He's a 6th-round pick this year, but he looks like he has all the intangibles and
Mhm.
the size. Can he put it together on the field? Because I would imagine we're taking a quarterback in the first round in Pittsburgh next year.
Yeah. Yeah. Very possible. Rodgers I like some of the leadership stuff I'm hearing about him in camp. Going to the media and talking about Roman needing to get out of his own head and start playing football. And, he starts producing then. The leadership is, I didn't know that much about him other than what I see him, do on the field. But, those kind of things I do like hearing that. Apparently he got into a little bit of a spat with our rookie running back when he didn't run the right route during camp and they were in each other's face. And, hey, it's his offense. He needs to command it and take control of things. And it sounds like he's doing that. We haven't had anybody there to do that since Ben. So
Right.
it's always just been, we've had there, and we haven't had that kind of guy up under center in a long time, it seems.
Yeah. If
And
there's one thing Rodgers does well, I mean, it is calling the offense and reading the defense. I mean, obviously he's one of the greatest players of all time. Like you can't dismiss that. But it's just the question is his age at this point. But yeah, I've seen
yeah.
similar stuff about his leadership. I've seen a few podcasts with him with the not just football with Cam Hayward had him on there. That was really good. If he can be a leader, that's awesome. But everyone that meets him says he's a great guy and he's a great locker room guy. But if the losses are exceeding the wins,
We'll find out.
Yeah, what's that going to turn into?
An older guy getting hurt, and
yeah,
I'm just worried when his arm's going to hit a wall.
Yep.
Because that just seems to be sudden with older quarterbacks. Any older player, they're fine one week and the next, it's all of a sudden they're like running in quicksand, or they can't get the ball down the field. When's his arm's going to say, hey, I need to go ahead and file for my AARP membership?
Yeah, I mean, it can happen. I mean, you look at every quarterback that has ever played as long as they have, and it's like it happens, and it is sudden.
Yeah.
I mean, Peyton Manning went from 56 touchdowns to throwing wet noodles in the span of 2 years. Tom Brady's the outlier, and obviously everyone thinks they can be Tom Brady, but even he had a fall off his last year.
Yeah.
It happens, and then what do you do? But what do you think we do with Skylar Thompson?
I don't want to say that he's going to be slotted in as the number 2 guy, but I think they're going to try to think of a way that they can keep these guys around. Because I mean, he did too much good during the preseason to say, hey, we just need to get rid of this guy because we have an unknown rookie that broke his finger.
Right.
That we're high on. I mean, I'm high on Will Howard too. I want to see what he can do because he was having a good camp. But Skylar put it together on the field, and he did it every single game.
Yeah.
And I read his scouting reports coming out of college earlier today, and the biggest knock on him was he didn't have an accurate deep ball. And then I found a guy that actually showed some of his college footage. I'll send you the link to it later.
Yeah.
He like threaded the needle on one and just put it right in the breadbasket 45 yards downfield. And this guy, he'll stand in the pocket. That pass he hit Scotty Miller deep on against Carolina, I thought he got sacked on the play because you're at a game, you're focused on one thing, and then it was at the other end of the field from where we were sitting. I thought he got sacked, and I look up, and then he's catching the ball on our end zone or towards our end zone. It blew my mind. I was like, wow, this guy's the real deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think another, you talk about the intangibles and the unmeasurables. He obviously went to Kansas State. He was the starter there when Will Howard was there, and he and Will Howard battled at Kansas State for the starting job. And
I know that.
Yeah, Skylar got it, and Will sat, I guess, for a year or two before he got the starting job. But they played college ball together. They know each other. I think the difference between Skylar and Mason, obviously besides the perceived talent, is Mason knows how to be a backup quarterback in this league. Obviously he's on his second team, but he's on his third or fourth contract. And he knows how to prepare to be a backup. And it's like, are we trying to teach Will Howard how to be a backup, or are we trying to coach Will Howard into starting one day? And again, it's just like, it sucks that he missed the preseason because you really felt like he had 3 games to show us what he can do before we have to make a decision next year, because he's not going to see time this year unless things go horribly south.
Yeah. And if he ends up on the field, I mean, it's just, I don't see things going well if we end up in that spot.
Yeah.
Before or after.
Sixth round rookie though. I mean, let's pull a Tom Brady. Let's have it. Yeah. It could go great this year, but even in my highest of expectations, that's not a Super Bowl. That's winning a divisional round playoff game. Or maybe not getting blown out by 30 in the wild card. Maybe that's the step forward. That would be.
And not playing your nickel defense 35% of the time against Baltimore while they're running the ball.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, and that can be a different discussion for a different day. The thing that this is a consistent thing with Mike Tomlin. I love him. I think he's a top 5 coach. Maybe you can talk about the greatness all time. Whatever. it feels like he does not adapt his game plans, whether that be the offensive coordinator or the defensive coordinator. It's like, well, whatever we're doing, we're doing.
Yeah.
We saw that in the 2010s when Tom Brady and Gronk just every great game, just it was Gronk over the middle, Gronk over the middle. I'm like, are we not? And it's the same stuff we're talking about that. It's like, okay, if we know Baltimore's doing this, we see them twice a year, change, figure out what works. Don't just stick to your game plan and hope something changes.
Yeah. Yeah. And we saw that with TJ last year too. He started getting double teamed. They didn't get creative before the next game and start moving him around like a chess piece.
Yep.
But they're doing it now. They're working on it in training camp so he can, play on either side and, put some new packages in for him. You could have done that during the season. I can't tell you how many times I saw Dick LeBeau do that.
Yeah. I mean, he moved Troy wherever. Like Troy was positionless. Troy was one of the first positionless guys. Troy went where Troy wanted to go. And obviously no one can replicate what Troy did, but you found a way, on offense, you get your weapons, you get your weapons the ball, right? You find a way to do it. On defense, you have to find a way to get your weapons on the ball.
Yeah.
And, if you're sitting there and they're double teaming TJ, okay, and they're probably double teaming Cam, we got to find another way in there. And that again, it all kind of comes back to the depth because the defense is so visibly tired. We're watching basic cable in week 14. I'm like, dang, they look gassed. They look gassed. I'm like, yeah, I would be too, but it's not like we're new to this NFL schedule. Like we know how this works. How is it still the same problem? And again, maybe the offense can rise up and the defense can, take a breather. But I just, the adjustments need to happen. And we just hope that we win a playoff game in January.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the goal this year. Is just win the one playoff game.
Win one playoff game. I got to imagine like Tomlin, for all of his Tomlinisms and his ability to handle the pressure in the media, like he probably goes home and he's like, I just want one. I've won a Super Bowl. I want one playoff win so I can get this monkey off my back.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder when his luck's going to run out and if he doesn't get over this hump and they say, hey, your message is tired in the locker room. We're going to need to move on.
Yeah. He's such an anomaly, obviously, because of his tenure. And I think that if you listen to, Ryan Clark has that podcast. I don't know if you've listened to that. A lot of former players obviously have their own podcast. And if the topic of Mike Tomlin ever comes up, like they are all say, like, I've always wanted to play for Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
And I think he has that appeal. And I think that he has his message and his message works and it fits, but it seems weird to say that we can't judge a guy based until whatever in his 18th or 19th year, but I don't think you can judge him until he finds another quarterback.
Yeah, that is true.
If you look at every successful head coach, they've had a great quarterback.
You got to have the stud.
The thing that makes Tomlin even better in my eyes is you look at who we've had to play the last 6 years, and yet we're still competing for division titles, and we're still making the playoffs with Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph and, 37-year-old Russell Wilson. Like, I don't think other coaches are doing that. I don't think Andy Reid's doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to have your guy up under center to win a lot of playoff games and Super Bowls. I mean, back in the Cowher years, if he'd had a stud quarterback when O'Donnell was our starter, he arguably could have walked away with 3 or 4 rings during the 90s.
Yeah.
Because they had everything but the quarterback.
Yeah. Well, have you heard the story about how they got Roethlisberger? Like how they were, so Cowher wanted to take, I forget.
Oh, yeah, he wanted to, with Sean Andrews from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
He got overridden.
Yep. Dan Rooney came in. He was like, no, we're taking this kid. Because they passed on Marino. And they were like, Ben was local, Miami of Ohio. And like, we're not doing that again. And it's just so funny, like how NFL history has changed based off, how you wonder how much is like that. I was clamoring for us to take Lamar when he was coming out of the draft. We probably would have ruined him, but at least he wouldn't have been a perennial MVP candidate for our biggest rival. So who knows?
There you go.
Either way, we come out on top.
No doubt. Well, here's to looking forward to hopefully we have more to be happy about this year than not.
Yeah. At the end, it's a game and we enjoy it and we get stressed over it and we hope for the best. You know, and it's a game. Like that's what I've told myself. It's just
Yeah.
like I'm not actually playing.
I'm past to getting stressed over it. I used to. Oh
Yeah.
man, it used to ruin my weeks when they would
Oh
lose
yeah.
games and have injury issues. I remember, O'Donnell broke his hand in '95. Rod
Yeah.
Whitman blew his knee out in the same game. It had me tore up for weeks. What are they going to do?
Yeah. We are not there. We are not on the team.
Yep, I can't control it.
No, we can collectively say that, yeah, what are we doing out there? But that's not us. You know, we just get to watch and hope for the best. And like I said, it's just it's depressing to say just a playoff game. That's all we want. Just one playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're better than that.
Yep, no doubt, man. All right. Well, it's been good. Until next time. So we'll circle the wagons next week, and we got a game in 1 week from today. It's the first regular season
2
game.
weeks. We have because they cut. There's no more week for the preseason. So
okay, I was thinking it started next Sunday. Okay,
nope, we got 2 weeks. Cut down day is Monday.
All right, folks. We'll see you next time.